see which of our truckers are able to jump on. A lot of our truckers are driving, and so therefore they can't safely get on. We recognize that. One of the things that I try to stress all the time is that the key is what is the vision and the connections in any endeavor, and not to get caught up on who's in the meeting. So I'm the host, Cy Smith. I'm the founder of the National Block Club University. And I'm gonna tell you, my focus is really about how do we build internationally to make life better for our community. Black people have endured some of the worst atrocities of mankind, yet we persevere. And so for me, it's an honor to speak to you guys about what we're working on to make life better for our community. And I hope you would take away a lot from this discussion. I'm going to be putting up different slides. We're going to take breaks. And as people get on, we're going to gain their insight. I believe everyone has something to contribute to making our community safer and stronger. And in this case today, doing it through our truckers, the people who drive for a living. So let me take the first opportunity here to put up what this is. So I'm gonna post the general flyer. Let me show you guys this. So as you can see here, Nigeria is promoting all Gary, Indiana national conventions. Let me say that again. Our people in Nigeria, in Africa, on the other side of the country, of the continent, in Africa, we have people in Nigeria who know about what we're doing here today. As you can see here, this beautiful queen at the top left, on Monday, which was the 14th, on the 12th, she was promoting the businesses knowing about today's trucking convention. Then, if you look next to that, the other little beautiful darling, you have that little princess talking about the police and firefighters knowing about the U.S. trucking convention today. Then you look at the young prince here talking about the investigative people, detectives, knowing about today's convention. Then we close it out with the beautiful queen today, princess today, talking about doctors and dentists knowing about the U.S. trucking convention today. For those who are watching on YouTube, that's all the credentials. If you want to share that to any of your family or friends, this is always what we do, is public and open to any and everyone, because we want everyone to gain and learn from this process. So let me take this slide down, and I'm gonna put up another slide that I want to talk through as we keep informing you of what we've built here, what we've established. So this form here, so that you guys can see who we are and the bandwidth that we're working with. So this is a map of the United States of America, which is the 4th largest country in the world, all right? And it shows you who we know. And as you can see, not a lot of truckers. These are all truckers, and as you see their names appearing here. So you see Al down in Mississippi, all right? You see Clotia in Georgia. You see Brittany, you see Joe Shaw, and you see Kumbi covering in Chicago. All right. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is the other regions. We have the nation divided up in regions that we are operating in. And this is where hopefully this YouTube video that we're going to save here is going to allow us to grow. Because in order for the truck drivers that lead their families to drive for a living, to provide for their family, you want your family safe while you're deployed, while you're out and working. And this is the benefit of us, because we are block by block in every Black zip code in Chicago and in 20 cities across the nation. So working with us, supporting us, it automatically helps us to make our neighborhoods more close knit. And that's the key. The tighter your zip code is, the less criminals feel comfortable attempting crime and getting away with crime. So that's what the benefit of this map is. Let me go through it real quick. If you look on the top right, you see Gary, Chicago, Atlanta. Underneath that, you see Boston, Philly, DC, Norfolk, and New York City. You go beneath that, you see Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee. Beneath that, you see Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans. Underneath that, you see Kansas City, St. Paul, and Cleveland. You go over to your left, you see Dallas and Memphis. To the left of them, finally, Los Angeles and San Diego. Okay? So I just painted the picture of where we're ultimately trying to go. And we're trying to go in 21 different cities, 20 cities plus Chicago. And we want to identify who are the truck drivers in that whole jurisdiction. As we identify who the truck drivers are, the next step is to get those truck drivers talking to each other. I've been fortunate to see and meet some of the Facebook group trucking groups, such as Black Truckers Organization, Black Box Truck Association, and I was encouraged to see that. And I want to just thank whoever took time and put that together, because what it does to a layperson or a person who's searching the web, it lets you know there are other like minds out there who's thinking about us coming together, us pulling our resources together, and at least talking to each other. It starts with identification and then alignment. And I want to thank whoever put those groups together, because it allowed us to get to know them as well. Going back to what I spoke about previously, if no one joins this Zoom, you're gonna benefit from this recording. Let me say that again. If no one else joins, if I spend this whole 1 hour, 60 minutes, no one else joins, you're gonna benefit, because you're gonna hear from the visionary of how we see trucking making a difference in Black lives all over the world, and especially here in the United States of America. So this is going to be a beneficial video with or without any truckers. It's always better together. So we hope the truckers will get on, but I got a lot of information to share with you guys. So we're going to go through that. So first, let me tell you who I was mentioning earlier with me being excited that these associations exist. So we have the Black Truckers, Black Truck Drivers. They're on Facebook. Shout out to the Black Truck Drivers. We have the Black Truckers Matter. They on Facebook. Shout out to you guys. We have the Black Professional Truck Drivers Facebook group. That's a wonderful thing. We have female truck drivers. Couldn't tell if that was Black or not, but shout out to all female truck drivers, no matter your ethnicity. Shout out to you guys for getting in a male-dominated industry. Then we had the Box Truck Buyers Club, and that's looks like primarily Black people. So those are the groups. If you're on Facebook, Google, go type in there any of those names, become friends to them, and just support whatever efforts they have going on. The association is good. We need that type of association. So now let's get to this portion of the agenda, which is the 20 cities I described to you. Each of those cities have isolated people who are being starved, and people who are being exploited. And hence why you see so much violence from Cleveland to Boston to Detroit to Chicago. And what I believe, as the founder of National Block Club University, which focuses on safer neighborhoods, I believe we must control the economics in our community, so therefore we can have resources to live and to put money behind areas of vulnerability at whatever juncture in life it is. So if we know we're having a problem with teenagers, then we can put more of our economics behind teen programming to help them. What I'm saying is, it's important that Blacks do for self. It's important that we use our money. I get it, it's money out there, but as long as that money is out there, it could take you away from you seeing the power you have of doing for self. So that's just my personal view on it. But that's what I hope we can get our people to buy into, that we are all powerful. God has given us what we need to turn our neighborhoods around, our conditions around. So we're going to talk about Chicago in particular because it is off the charts in America regarding the number of people shot and killed and so forth. So what you're going to look at now is where are our Chicago truck drivers? So I'm going to post this so you can see as I'm speaking, you'll see who I'm speaking about in terms. And I wish I can blow this up because it might be hard to see. And if it's hard to see, I don't want you guys to wreck your I don't want you guys to wreck your eyes trying to see what I'm posting here. So here we go. Let's see here. There it is right there. Okay. So this says City of Chicago Trucking Professionals. City of Chicago Trucking Professionals. Okay. And what is it? It's just what it says. This here is the 20 Black neighborhoods in Chicago. 20 Black neighborhoods in Chi-Town. We're getting a little feedback. Okay. These are the 20 Black neighborhoods in Chicago that are, whenever you hear about the unfortunate news, unfortunately, it's coming from these sectors. The north side, which is in red, you don't see much. However, they're starting to get their fair share of the violence because of the years of neglect, decades of neglect on the south and west side. So let me go through it real quick. All the yellow you see represents west side of Chicago. And each one of those neighborhoods, we're asking for any truck drivers. That's what we've been asking for because we knew today was coming. And so we only have a day, Kumbi, in Humboldt Park. He's the only truck driver we know and have on the west side. If you look on the south side, we consider south side everything in green. On the south side, we have two. So we double what we had in the yellow, which is west side. We have Brittany, young lady we mentored up as a student. Now she's have her own truck and runs her own trucking company. Also as a nurse, so she's doing it on multiple fronts. And then in Auburn Gresham, we got brother Joe Shaw. And Joe Shaw is a brother, I think he's more on the Amazon side, but he's doing it big. And then if you go east on the blue, we have two as well. All the way up high blue around 55th, we have Bronzeville, and brother Al is linked to Bronzeville out of Mississippi. Okay. Then you go and we got Lichelle Bishop. She's out of Chatham. Her office is out of Chatham. And so she's another resource and asset for us. So those were the two in the blue region. So now, let me take this up. Okay. So let's now get into the meats and potatoes. The weekly conventions, that's what these are. Weekly conventions are designed to create vibrancy in a city that 8 out of 10 people are Black people. 8 out of 10 people here are Black, and therefore it is one of America's blackest cities. And you would think in a city where we're the dominant group that we can be controlling economics, therefore controlling the politics, therefore helping to just bring hope to our community. So if we can't do it in a place like this, a small town, 57 square miles, 8 out of 10 people Black, if we can't do it in a situation like this where it's majority of us, we close to rich Chicago, then it's going to spell challenges for anywhere else that don't have this setup that Gary has. So I believe Gary is critical for all of our people all over this nation. We just have to do it a strategic way so it can make sense. So here's the agenda. Friday, yesterday, July 16th, the National Trucking Convention Jubilee kicked off. 7 o'clock or 8 is when we anticipate people arriving, and you'll be met with the Chicago Welcoming Committee and the dinner afterwards. So that's when you came, you was entertained and met, and we hosted you. The Welcoming Committee is part of the money you paid to pay them. So we know we're putting our money right back into our people, creating jobs. So from 6 to 7 is the dinner food. Because you're downtown Chicago, primarily, you get to sightsee. And we're just saying, by the time you get done sightseeing and doing all those things between 9 and 11 o'clock that night, we're in Gary nightlife. So it's a plethora of lounges here, nightlife entertainment. So we're going to work with those owners so that they will have a open door policy for all our out of town guests here in Gary. So we're going to create vibrancy at night for Gary, which is made up of out of town people. That's part of the vision. Then today, so that's from 9 to 11, the nightlife. And then you stay as late as you want, but know that you got to get up in the morning because that's when everything kicks off. So we start on Saturday, July 17th today, 9 o'clock to 10 is breakfast. Then 10 to 11, which is where we are now, is our first morning workshop in which we're covering one of the topics. I'm going to get to that in a minute here. From 12 to 1, the next step is the afternoon workshop. This is centered around Blacks in trucking. So we definitely should hear from some of our coalitions on what they have seen out there. Then at 1:45, we talk about policing when it comes to truck drivers. Then at 3 o'clock, we're going to focus on the 20 other cities that we're in. So everything I've been talking about, Chicago headquarters, but this will be about the whole network. And then 7:30 to 9 o'clock is when we get really excited over the young people. We do the youth rally, we do the mock trials, the spelling bee competitions, and that's for the young people. 8th graders are linked to our truckers, and that's the kind of the conclusion of the convention. Now, one of the takeaways of this convention is that the truckers who's in town, who's on Zoom, they have to vote on the national theme for the next year. So if truckers out there doing their own thing, they haven't heard of this, we're saying it right now. Every third Wednesday is Truckers Day. So the third Wednesday of each month is when you can get on the Zoom or on the call and get connected with other truckers. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is the theme piece, which what is being worked on all year long leading up to the next, in this case, the next trucking convention. What should they discuss now so that all year long they're doing apparel with that theme on it. They're doing everything to promote it. And then they're going to be there July 16th, 17th, and 18th of next year. So that's kind of where that is. And then I want to call your attention to what that looks like so you can see specifically. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. Pardon me for all that noise there. Okay, let's get this up there. All right, this isn't what I was looking for. I think I have it. I have to just go and look a little deeper here. But what this is the brochure that went out and is out there so that people can see what we're doing. On the left, you see who the sponsors are, which in this case, we don't have any, but I am in touch with Snyder and JB, and we'll see where that goes, but that's where sponsors would go. Host committee is our, Gary people, meaning they're coming here for the convention. So the Gary leaders are the ones really hosting all of our out-of-town people and their families. All right, so that's how that works. If you go underneath that, so that's where that is. If you go underneath that, we're going to be next talking about the challenges truck drivers face. We did highlight the policing. That's going to come up. That's a big deal because I think especially with recreational marijuana and some of the other things, we can end up getting caught up, and we know we'll have worse penalties, so we can't afford that. Okay, so then at 12 o'clock, we're going to get off of Zoom. We're going to be in person and talk about Blacks in trucking. That's another organization. At 1:45 to 3 o'clock, we're going to be concentrating, focused on policing on the highways. 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, the Zoom dialogue, getting back on Zoom then, it's about the national U.S. Meeting coming up and discuss everything we're doing here with them there. So that way our leader, will be able to say, hey, I'm gonna procure their services to put money in their business as well. So that's kind of a benefit of this dialogue. It allows people to see, get comfortable, and then tap in and circulate money. Plus, they all got a name they for, which gives them someone to spend the money on. So I hope that helps. But the policing aspect, we want to see where across our 20 cities do we see more bad policing? Where do we see least? Who's an example? both ways. After that, we're gonna have the dinner and concert, and then at 7:30 to 9 o'clock is the youth rally. It's the national convention, and it's the spelling bee. So that's what the setup is. That's how we have it designed right now, and so far so good. No complaints on our end. Next year's convention will be Sunday, July 18th. Everyone get together at 11 to 12, and we're gonna release the public agreed upon dates for next year for the this Jubilee / convention. So that will be Friday, July 15th, Saturday, July 16th, and Sunday, July 17th. Okay, so that's it for the agenda. Let's take another break here. And when we come back, we go dive into the themes a little bit deeper when we come back. I want to go and really drive home this message of themes and what is a theme and how does that theme work? Like, how does it really work? So let me put this up on the screen. And again, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. And then we're going to continue down our path here. There it is. Okay. All right, everyone, I am back so that we can now discuss these various themes. These themes is what we are about to talk about next. After the themes, we're gonna talk about the businesses that could potentially become our sponsors of the future. So we're gonna talk about that as well. Snyder is always sending out stuff, so we're gonna talk about them as well. All right, so let's get to the theme piece. So I think I already shared with you the different regions that we have in the country. And so with that in mind, I want to talk about the way the ideal conventions will go in person. So because we are all gathered, whether it's on Zoom, on the phone, or in person, we all gathered, the takeaway that when you leave here, the takeaway should be the national agreed upon theme for next year. What is the theme? The theme is the narrative, where you're trying to go, what you want to be the focal point when people hear about what you're doing. So the theme is a big deal. And for our apparel group, the theme is going to let us know what we should be printing up in terms of. So without a team, they wouldn't know, the apparel team wouldn't know where to go to begin branding and helping to brand that year's convention. So this whole thing is a structure, and it's up to the people. The people have to want, people have to be willing to put the time. So I just want to let people know we're doing our part, but it's got people to take and make it even. You get out of life what you put into it. That's not right. things. so anyway, let's get to these themes. And I'm going to spend some time with each theme, but let me name all 7 themes first, and why we have 7. And then we're going to get into each one. We're going to take breaks in between that, because I love to give people a chance to get up and move around when we're doing these Zooms like this. So the GCA theme, that stands for Gary, Chicago, Atlanta theme, is about how to use truck drivers and trucking as a profession to make our neighborhoods safer. Chicago being the most dangerous city in terms of violence, is fitting that GCA, which stands for Gary, Chicago, Atlanta, would lead that. And Atlanta is the national headquarters for police and firefighters. So those 2 things give the creating safer neighborhoods a leg up for this region more than the other 6 regions. So let's talk about what that looks like. and we definitely got to talk about the challenges truckers face. But on your block, do we have anyone that drives trucks? All right, on your block, because everything starts with inventory. Do we have any truck drivers on your block? If we don't, okay, fine, we'll note that. But in the event someone decides to begin in CDL world, we would love to know about it so we can make sure that we get them on board with what we're talking about. So that's inventory. The second thing is, does the truck drivers have a family? Some truck drivers don't have family, so they able to stay deployed longer. Some people, I met a sister, she's a 26-year-old mom and driving a truck on the road, but providing for her family. So we want to know, who are those truck drivers that have a family that we need to be aware of, and know what city that family is in, so that they can have extra layers of support. So that's what that boils down to when it comes to safe neighborhoods. We got to do the inventory, know who's who. Then we got to go deeper and find out kind of what people are and what they're dealing with. The third leg of that, to create, is to make certain that in your family, once you let us know about your family, that then we financially support the integration plan. So if you're a truck driver and you have a 17-year-old son, you're on the road for 1 week, back home for another week, it's important that that 17-year-old, you tell 17-year-old to us who he or she is. And I can tell you right now, he's probably a junior. And if he's a junior, we politicians link the juniors. We have various different professions like journalists, apparel people. And those are the people who will be in your son's life if dad isn't there. And if dad is there, they'll still be there. But the key is to make sure that single parent have layers of support. And based on if they have children, every grade, kindergarten through 12th grade, have about 4 or 5 profession industries that is assigned to each grade. So going forward, our young people will have more than enough support in every neighborhood because of the structure and the way it's set up. Now, that's not the case right now because I'm doing this training Zoom so that you can buy into this idea and this concept, because without that, it won't be an idea or a concept. It's just be something in my head thinking. So anyway, we want to get that done so we can make those links and the funding can follow them. The other thing is, as truck drivers are moving in city by city, if you have a fellow truck driver who's from New Orleans and we're spending money going to New Orleans to meet people, this is where sharing that information helps, because that can save us a ticket to New Orleans, cab and all that. By you telling us, hey, I met my truck driver buddy yesterday, he's going to New Orleans, here's his info. You just saved us the $900 in travel. All right. So that's one of the ways we make our neighborhood safer. It goes deeper than that as well, but I don't want to bog you down with the details, but just know there are 16 blocks assigned to being responsible for all trucking in your city. 16 blocks, and on every block, they have a specific role. So that's what I wanted to stress. We're compartmentalized so that people can shine in their own compartment, but they can also come out of that compartment and interact with the broader group. That's what we have to have. We know some of our brothers are vulnerable, can be taken advantage of, so we got to get them out of there into a place where then they could be mentored and nurtured onto the right pathway. So that's it. And we're already at the halfway point, so I got to speed up because there's a lot more to cover. I'm going to take just a 2-minute break here, but that's the theme for 2021. We ideally would agree on what the theme for next year would be, but it is trucking to create safer neighborhoods. That's under Gary, Chicago, Atlanta. Trucking to create safe neighborhoods, and it was everything I just described. That's what we ultimately was going to be discussing. So now what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna put up the next slide so that while we take this break, you guys can kind of mull over and see how what we're doing is gonna make a difference. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that up right there. We will return in 2 minutes, so at 10:32. Thank you. All right, all right, all right. Cy Smith is back, your host. I am not a truck driver. To all the truckers who may watch this, I'm not false flagging either. I'm the founder of the National Block Club University, and our whole focus is block by block organizing, getting our community together. And every industry has a role to play. And so we looked at the truck drivers and what role you guys can play. So we're looking at every third weekend of July having this meeting of truck drivers coming together to have interface with us, the grassroots people doing block by block work. So I left off at the themes. I'm gonna go through the other six themes. There's 7 themes because there's 7 US regions. I just went through the trucking to create safer neighborhoods theme. That's for Gary, Chicago, Atlanta. Let's switch over to Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee and their theme. So with that theme, because Detroit is our national headquarters for all things dealing with construction, St. Louis is our headquarters for all things dealing with lawyers, and Milwaukee is all things with arts. So St. Louis won out, and so this theme for DSM region, if you're a truck driver in that area, smarter regulations on trucking is needed. Smarter regulations on trucking. So this theme, again, I can't dive into it. I'm not a truck driver, but let me tell you some of the things that I've heard from truck drivers. And it goes into the rules, the regulations. One of the things that I heard a lot of grumbling about was with the you have to be off the road by a certain time and the impact that has had. And so I believe the goal of Congress, I think Congress, it was a federal thing. One of the things was about safer streets was getting truckers off the road so they can get their rest that they must sleep so many hours before hitting the road again. So this is where Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee truckers would take this on for this year's theme and come up with what excuse me, what should be done, what could be done, what are the pros and cons of it. But having at least the 7 hours of sleep on 2 consecutive nights before you hit the road, I think that's what it was. So anyway, that's the theme for DSM region, Detroit, St. Louis, Milwaukee. The next region is Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans. Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans region, MBN. So Miami is our headquarters for marketing nationally. Birmingham is our headquarters for food nationally, and New Orleans is our headquarters for travel. So here, what do truck drivers do? They travel. They deliver goods, products, and loads. So with traveling, the key there is what is it? Everyone isn't a long distance truck driver. Some people are short distance truck drivers, but what is it that we can prepare for next year in terms of a theme? What can we do to make sure that people that want to get in trucking know the benefits of travel? What cities have you guys been to? What states you've been to that could have made a difference in your life or your thinking? So this is kind of what MBN would do for next year. Would come up with a theme that deals with travel. All right. Then we got KSC region. KSC is Kansas City, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Cleveland. This region, upper east region of the nation. Kansas City is our headquarters for teaching. St. Paul is our headquarters for politicians, and Cleveland's our headquarters for doctors and dentists. So in this region, still, I would say the theme is something dealing with education. How many truck driving schools are there in our 21 cities? What are they? How are they in terms of preparation of our truck drivers? So that region, KSC theme should be centered around that. Then you have DM region, that's Dallas and Memphis. I saw a lot of Dallas. So I see how hard Dallas is represented on social media, on Facebook anyway. I'm not sure about Instagram and TikTok and the others, but on Facebook, Dallas is representing strong. Dallas is our national headquarters for doctors, nurses, and also truck drivers and pastors. So they have a lot, Dallas, to lead the nation on. And then Memphis is our headquarters for all things dealing with communication, judges, poets, etc. So here, the theme should be something centered around communication, because that'll tie into this. And so it could be something like, what is the communication like between truck drivers? I remember back in the day, CBs and breaker, what's some of the language? What can the young people learn in terms of the lingo for becoming a truck driver? That will come out of our DM region, Dallas and Memphis. 2 more to go of these regions. LS region is Los Angeles and San Diego region. LA is our national headquarters for entertainment. San Diego is our national headquarters for farming. So with that, who are some of the famous truck drivers? Like, do we know any? Is it anyone in entertainment society that was a truck driver or was or is a truck driver? So that would give some inspiration if that was a theme to identify the top 3 famous people in the country who were truck drivers. Now, the final theme region is BPDNN. BPDNN. That stands for Boston, Philadelphia, Dallas. Boston, Philly, DC, Norfolk, and New York City. Boston, Philly, DC, Norfolk, New York City. So that is huge. And the biggest, Boston is our headquarters on science and pharmaceuticals. Philly is our headquarters on investigations. DC is our headquarters on business. Norfolk is our headquarters on animals. And then New York is our headquarters for technology. So the key with this region, I think, is what technology is coming that truck drivers need to be prepared for. Is it the auto driving of vehicles? Like, what is it that should make truck drivers raise their antenna and say, let me pay attention to this? So that's kind of what the BPDNN region would come up with a theme, and the t-shirts and apparel would match that going forward. So that concludes our 7 themes. I'm gonna read them all to you real quickly. Gary, Chicago, Atlanta, trucking to create safer neighborhoods theme. DSM, Detroit, St. Louis, Milwaukee, they're dealing with smarter regulations for trucking. We got MBN, Miami, Birmingham, New Orleans. Theirs is about the travel places. In New York City. So I'll take a 2 minute. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the big truck drivers in the game and get your insight and input on that as well. And then we're going to keep it going from there. So let me put up another slide here while we take a 2 minute break, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. We are back. We are back. Okay, good. So here's the next phase of this conversation. I hope the people who are tuning in, hearing me for the first time, the founder of the National Block Club University, and I'm a person who's working on a lot of different industries. So I'm not a truck driver at all, but I am having this dialogue and hope that you'll be able to plug into what we're doing. My number is 312-405-8844. 312-405-8844. The benefit of truck drivers connecting with us is because we're in 20 cities around the nation. If you have children, we have a youth component, we have a senior citizens component. So we're a centralized uniform delivery system. So we can plug in whatever you're dealing with. If it's in our jurisdiction, we can support that and give you layers of support. This next section here, we already talked about the themes already. We talked about the different groups on Facebook that is encouraging to see so many Black trucking groups. So now we want to talk about the trucking companies out there. Now, the goal, this is our first year with this. The goal next year is to be in person. So hope you guys can plan around coming to Gary, Chicago in July, the third weekend in July, so that you can physically be around other truck drivers and you can hear about how we as a block by block structure is preparing the youngsters to become the next versions of you as truck drivers. You also hear about how we're preparing our community to know how to move goods and loads using our people, just like other ethnic groups take care and keep money in their groups as well. So let me go through some of these trucking companies out here so you guys can we can talk about it and I can give my 2 cents to it. But the top five that I was able to get a printout on, this was in from the American Trucking Association. The number one is Knight and Swift. And I don't know why it's listed as number one. So I'm gonna say the one I wrote down first is Knight and Swift. I don't have the details on that. That's why I'm questioning why they were number one. We have JB Hunt. JB Hunt. In 2017, they made $2 billion. And in 2018, they made $2.5 billion. Xpo Logistics. Xpo Logistics. I've seen these trucks on the highway. $3.6 billion in 2017. So they made $16 billion more than JB Hunt did in that same year. Want to know how many black people drive for XPO? Let us know, you guys. How many black people drive for JB Hunt? Let us know. Snyder National, and I actually have some that they mailed to me. Snyder did, so I'm gonna read some of the things that they talked about as well. They're number 4 on my list. They made $2.4 billion in 2017, so they made $4 billion more than JB Hunt, and they made 1.2 billion less than XPO. Okay. Then the last one I have is Werner Enterprises. Werner Enterprises made the least, $1.6 billion in 2017. We have FedEx as a juggernaut when it comes to delivery and trucking. That's $6.3 billion. UPS, $2.5 billion. R&L, $1.5 billion. So I wrote this down last May. So this is kind of dated, but last May is when I wrote that down. Now, this is the flyer. This is some of the benefits that Snyder is promoting. They're talking about you get respect at work. They got increased pay up to 20%. They're talking about household budget predictability, how you got some weekly guaranteed pay. They're talking about help make a job change, how you can go from $24,000 on an experienced team to $1,000 for your first year, $500 if you're inexperienced to get in their arena. Rewards for performance. 85% of their drivers earn performance pay. This is it could lead up to $75 per driver each week based on how you perform on the road. Comfort and reliability. Trucks have 2 years trade cycles, so they're not breaking down on the road as much, I would guess. And they talked about all the things that come along with their newer trucks, built-in refrigerator, satellite radio. They say true team spirit, where they're talking about how to keep the average length under 1,000 miles. Well, no, the average length of what they do is 1,000 miles. And if you have a capacity, you can expect 5,000 miles. Your team could earn huge freight base load. So you're earning money there. Most loads are pre-dispatched. Get your next load before you deliver. Down, one got the skeleton and bone, stuff like that. So I was really shocked to learn so much about the hazmat aspect of trucking and what can and can't go. And I was really impressed that much administrative care went into these trucks being on the road. And then they talked about the last two is true team support. Team only approach is for the dispatchers, operations, and customer service. And they say more to choose from, which is weekly pay, dedicated account managers for your position, and they ultimately are trying just to recruit people. That's what this flyer is about, recruiting. I would imagine if they're in the industry that JB Hunt has something similar to that, XPO has something similar, but the bottom line is those are some of the biggest trucking companies in the game, dollar wise. We did reach out to JB Hunt, like I said. We reached out to XPO, Werner, and we're going to continue doing that because we want to see them financially support these conventions so that way they can be run by, people that really have a passion for journalism, facilitate meetings. It can be the youth concerts for the young people, breakfast, dinner, and of course the travel money so people can travel. And I believe in every city, the young people who, in this case, eighth graders are linked to all truck drivers, the young people will benefit the most if any of those companies sponsor what we're talking about so that them young people in Mississippi can travel to Gary for the convention, young people in Dallas can travel, young people in Memphis can travel, young people in Miami can travel and come here and be in the midst of these truck drivers and listen and hear the stories on each of their challenges and triumphs as well. So let me go now and switch gears and talk about something different. So a very close family member of mine just got into the trucking world, bought a truck, and was meeting some challenges regarding getting work and getting everything legally set up and then getting work. Me being the strategist, organizer, I said we need a pipeline to make certain that we can help people from the idea of wanting to be a truck driver to the education, to the network, to the finance. Those things are like typical, whatever you want to do, you need insight, knowledge on it. You need a network of people who can help you. You're going to need money. So this is the main breadth of what we bring to the table to you guys. All right. I know truck drivers who essentially never are home. They paying for a place and they on the go. They're too busy to deal with Airbnb. One of the things that we do by zip code is we provide you layers of support. So I envision as you build a relationship with us and you can trust us, that we'll be your Airbnb for your home so that you can earn money when you know you're on the road and people can be out of your space and clean before you get home. That's an option. That's not for everyone. That's just an option. The point is that's what we do. Because we're in 20 cities, we are using, imagine a foreign exchange program where foreign students come and stay with families. We're doing that, but you'll be on the road as a truck driver. So it's a little bit different if you're a single truck driver. That's one aspect. Let's say, for instance, you hit a financial hurdle and you need access to, some money. We've established our residents block by block that trust us with larger dollar amounts so that we can pool money together and help each other. So I would say definitely under $5,000, under $5,000, financial support from your own community. That's a benefit. If you have children, your children can benefit from our awards program, from 12th grade awards, 5th grader, 9th grader, you name it. Again, whatever zip code you're in, it has to be in one of our merged zip codes or sister cities, and they will be able to get that support. That would allow you as a truck driver to take your mind off of worrying about your children when you know financial support is coming their way from their community, from the national community. The other thing is if a person is trying to get a truck, I think this family member spent $30,000, so everyone won't be in position to do that. So again, because we know you, because we're getting to know you, we can put together that pipeline to help people get a truck. What I believe when it comes to Black truck drivers is there can be no competition as long as we as a collective is losing in the industry. Let me say that again. There could be no competition when we're losing in the industry itself. So I believe the more Black truck drivers get to know each other, talk to each other, and agree to pool money together, we're going to be better off capturing a better market share of this trucking industry. The other thing with that is how do we stay connected? Every third Wednesday is Truckers Day to us. So we hope that knowing that you will stay connected to 312-405-8844. But here's the beauty if you don't. Because we got this trucking infrastructure here and it's updated every third Wednesday of the month, we've broken down based on your last name when we will ask you to come on and do a little bit more this time than you normally would do. And we're asking you to do that twice a year, and it's every 6 months. So it will be no burnout from our end to make sure that we're spending more time with you to help you access all these benefits that I'm talking about, we can do for you to give you layers of support. So I wanted to put that out there as well. Part of our team is the legal team. If you had legal issues, child support issues, anything like that, we want to make sure that you know this network is a network of networks and everyone knows someone. So it just puts you in a position to benefit. So finally, let me tell you what I need from you. Let me tell you what I need from you in order for this to work the way we ultimately want this to work. I need to have an economic agreement with you as a truck driver, an economic agreement. And I recognize you don't know us. That's okay. We can take time to know each other, but it's important coming in the door, you will know what our expectations are as the National Block Club University. We have two things we want to talk about. One is what we ask everyone for, which is $12 a year, $1 a month. We hope that's a no-brainer. Like you do that like that. That can be sent to Cash App, SYRON, $SYRON, or Zelle Quick Pay at SyronSmith@yahoo.com, SYRONSMITH@yahoo.com. That should be a prerequisite, easy $12 a year. Okay. But here's the other piece. Because real estate is a challenge in this country and has gone up exponentially, the cost of real estate, and homelessness is an issue in this nation. We're working to reduce the cost of living. That's different. Everyone else is talking about inflation, getting more money to pay more bills. We're doing the opposite, totally going against the stream. We're saying we're gonna reduce the cost of living, but for our community. So and this for mainstream. We're talking about our community reducing the cost of living. How are we going to do that? With layers of support. We need five truck drivers to call and talk to me about real estate investing in Gary, Indiana. Let me say that again. This here is about 5 truck drivers. As many of you guys, 5, it'll be in increments of 5, becoming investors, if you will, in the real estate in Gary, Indiana. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And no, you don't have to be a managing properties. You don't have to be here. We're talking about how to use truck drivers' salary to help create one city in this country where we control it economically with the real estate, with job creation and so forth. We already have the conventions coming here. You're going to be here. So now let's anchor the real estate. That's the second thing we're asking from our truck drivers. So I want to thank you guys for joining us this year, 2021. Just me on here with you, but 2022, we hope you would join us physically in the city of Gary, Indiana, coming through Chicago with our Chicago people hosting you, welcoming you. Then you come on over here and really spend some energy, spend some money with the people here in Gary, Indiana, and let's build. Think about what the future looks like when young people, 8th graders that's linked to you guys, are traveling, meeting new people, seeing new things. A beautiful, beautiful, different direction. All the shooting and killing now, they're traveling. And when they're traveling, they don't have time for the things they was doing when they was sitting in their comfort zone. So I just want to thank you guys again for all you do. Be safe on that road. I got a deeper appreciation of truck drivers, having spent time preparing for this convention here. And I no longer do what I used to do when I saw you guys out there on the road. I have a whole lot more compassion for you. And the female truck drivers, you guys, you gals are amazing. Be safe out there on that road. I really don't like, personally women being out there on the road at night because I know how some men can be critters. So I want you guys to always be safe. We didn't talk about firearms and if you can carry firearms or not, I don't know about that. But whatever you do, be safe out there on the road. National Block Club University, that's who we are. Website is the same, www.nationalblockclubuniversity.com. And our phone number is 312-405-8844, 312-405-8844. Every third Wednesday of the month is Truck Drivers Day. Give us a call, 312-405-8844. Thanks for spending 1 hour with us. And the hour went by pretty fast with minimum breaks. And I appreciate you guys for that. Share this video with family and friends. Let them know the quicker we can do this, the safer and better we can make this nation. Peace.